the silent hormone that's ruining your face. So you're getting nowhere with your skin and device routine. You've tried everything, or you're about to start a routine because you've crossed the threshold where aging accelerates. For many of my patients, and I bet you, there's one simple step you need to know, one simple step you're missing to make it all work. It turns out 70% of adults experience chronically high cortisol, and worse yet, over half have no idea. Yes, I said 50%. Are you in that 50%? Because it's showing up on your face, your skin, your body composition, and your aesthetics. It's literally unwinding everything you're trying to do and your hard-earned dollars. Cortisol can be the difference between aging gracefully and aging aggressively. Yes, I said it, aging aggressively. That threshold that you think you fell through. Because here's an even worse concept that I see in my patients. They believe that they've reached a biological turning point erroneously, an irreversible inflection point for visible aging. But that's just not true. You're being fooled, and that's the good news. And many think, oh, it's my menopause, it's my perimenopause, but it's not. It ends up being much more simpler of a solution, and that is the great news today. So if you're feeling puffy, tired, gaining weight, and looking older than you feel, this more often than not is your hidden culprit. I always tell my clients, think of cortisol like your toxic friend. Shows up uninvited, overstays the welcome, and leaves you bloated, exhausted, and looking, well, a little bit rough. We've all been there. We all have friends like that. Uninvited guests. Let's remove this uninvited guest. First, what is cortisol? Because to be honest, when I was a young doctor, I never really understood it. And many people and doctors out there still don't. It wasn't until many of my patients were buying great skincare, using the best devices, and even getting Botox and biostimulators, things that should work always hands down, but they still weren't getting anywhere. They weren't working, and that made no sense to me. But then it hit me like a brick, like a surprise mirror glance in that fluorescent lighting, rude but motivating. Not this one, but this one. The mirror glance that makes you look older than you are. You see, cortisol is your body's stress hormone released by the adrenal glands. It helps with energy, inflammation, and metabolism. But when it stays too high for too long, it wreaks havoc. Here's exactly how high cortisol affects your aesthetics. So look for these. Number one, a puffy face and bloating. High cortisol equals fluid retention, and that equals puffiness. You see it mostly under the eyes, but you also see it in the cheeks, and sometimes that malar fat pad I have complete videos on, that kind of fat pad below the eye bag that bothers so many people. Number two, a common one, especially one that confuses people about estrogen loss and menopause, because menopause thins the skin too, but so does high cortisol. Skin thinning. You see, high cortisol breaks down collagen and elastin that leads to fragile skin. Number three, look for weight gain, especially around your face and belly. Think menopause or abdominal fat. Number four, dull skin and wrinkles. Cortisol increases oxidative stress and slows skin cell turnover. Retinols increase cell turnover, so you look vibrant and you get glow. Cortisol does the opposite of a retinol. Number five, hair loss or thinning. It disrupts hair cycles. A lot of people use my red light LED mask, not just for the face, but the hair. But don't miss cortisol, even if that's helping. Number six, acne and breakouts. So it triggers oil production and that inflammation, and you get acne. And some people think, oh, it's hormones, acne of menopause, of the change of cycle. No, check your cortisol. Here's some needed science quickly before we get into the solutions. A 2014 review titled Brain-Skin Connection, Stress, Inflammation, and Skin Aging, you can see here, they looked at chronic stress and elevated cortisol levels. They demonstrated the negative impact on your skin health. They showed those negative effects on collagen and elasticity. This review looked at 218 published studies. It was robust. Look here, feedback mechanisms and crosstalk between the brain and the skin. So between the brain and the skin, imagine that, and pro-inflammatory cytokines and neurogenic inflammatory pathways play huge roles in mediating such responses. Look here at this important diagram. It says it all and helps make sense of the brain effects I'm talking about on the skin. The brain and cortisol affects all of these elements, if you can believe it. You see the fibroblasts here? Fibroblasts do what? They build your collagen and elastin. And look here. Blood vessels, the effect of the brain on your blood vessels and blood flow. Well, what produces estrogen in your face for your skin glow and your skin structure? It's that fat layer just below the skin. That's the fat you lose with age, with Ozempic, and with high cortisol, it turns out, too. What does blood flow do when it's good? It supports that exact fat. So you need blood flow, and you don't have it with high cortisol. Just so you see the fat I'm talking about, look in the cross section here. Look at the sub-Q fat. Notice the SMAS. That's the layer where people talk about getting a SMAS facelift. But the fat is also important between your skin and the SMAS layer. We call this the brain-skin axis. You'll see that commonly now that you're tuned to it. So who's exactly involved? Well, number one, the hypothalamus here, that's the command center. Number two, the pituitary gland, that's kind of the hormone boss. And number three, the adrenal glands here, the cortisol factory. It pumps out cortisol. So look for that chronic fatigue, the puffy face, the weight gain, trouble sleeping, wrinkles and sag, mood swings, anxiety or depression, high blood pressure, irregular periods or low libido, and skin that bruises easily or gets stretch marks. But what do you do? Let's move on to your exact action steps. Number one, get tested. Ask for saliva, urine, or blood cortisol levels, ideally throughout the day, not just one single test. Now, I think this part is the most important. Lower your stress naturally. Think deep breathing, yoga. Nature walks are amazing. I love nature. Gua sha. Now, when I say meditation, think about as little as 10 minutes a day. That's enough actually to lower your cortisol measurably. So it doesn't have to be complex or long, but keep practicing meditation. It's an art. Here's another easy one that you should do. It takes some work. Sleep smart. 7 to 9 hours per night. What most people don't realize, cortisol is regulated by your circadian rhythm. Hydrate and eat for balance. Limit your caffeine to about 2 cups per day. Lower your sugar. Lower your processed food. Now, what can you take for a supplement or within your food? Think of adaptogens like ashwagandha. Here's one example. This is mine. I give it to my clients, and here's the dose in case you're on one or you're wondering, like, how much of ashwagandha would you take? For me and my patients, 1,500 milligrams is what I recommend. Now, what about exercise? It's huge, but not too much. It turns out that chronic over-exercising can spike cortisol, so keep it moderate. The majority of people don't really have this problem, but a few of you addictive types, and I get there sometimes too, we do over-exercise. Creatine helps with recovery, but still keep an eye on it. The truth is, as we age, we need more rest and recovery. And yeah, like I said, the creatine helps with recovery. And it doesn't help just with the sarcopenia or muscle loss that some people get as we age that leads to loose, flabby arm skin, more skin around the legs. Even in the face, you lose muscle mass. But keep in mind, you do need to recover. That afternoon nap for 15 to 40 minutes tops, it's a game changer and worth it. Aside from ashwagandha, what do I put my patients on? Think magnesium, vitamin C, omega-3s are key, and melatonin. This is an interesting one that gets some controversy, but melatonin helps regulate cortisol. Think sleep extreme. One well-known mechanism is by improving your sleep quality. That alone will naturally reduce your nighttime cortisol levels. You see, many of us don't get the quantity, and as you guys tell me, I can't change the quantity. I'm busy. Life is moving. I got kids, family, different commitments. So what do you need to do? You need quality. The silent killer of your skin is nighttime cortisol spiking. Melatonin, as it turns out, suppresses late night cortisol by spikes, especially in shift workers and my stress patients. So shift work and stress is where you'll see it most. But here's something most people don't know. Melatonin has antioxidant properties that counter high cortisol. Have you ever heard before anywhere else that melatonin is an antioxidant? I bet not. But it is. It's a powerful one. In fact, it's one of the few antioxidants that can cross all cell membranes and the blood-brain barrier too. No gatekeeping here. Here's the exact formula I use in Sleep Extreme and compare whatever yours on. But here's the thing. Many of you might be on singular elements of what's in my one supplement, and that's great too. So let me detail it through because there are teas that also contain these. Think vitamin B6 or pyridoxine, magnesium, L-tryptophan, goji berry. Here's one that many of you take in a tea, chamomile flower. It calms the HPA, hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis that we talked about. Your stress circuit, the same system that controls cortisol production. It also gently downregulates the stress response, and that helps prevent your cortisol spikes. So chamomile is a big one. Chamomile also increases something called GABA, the chill out neurotransmitter. That's why I add GABA itself to my Sleep Extreme. Then there's St. John's wort and of course the ashwagandha root. I do have a complete video on ashwagandha if you're not familiar with that. And then of course there's melatonin in there. I've seen these strategies win with my patients and myself over and over again. The ones who couldn't lose weight, they felt inflamed, they looked overtired despite trying everything. Once we tested and tackled their cortisol, their skin was glowing again. I kind of think cortisol is the most under-recognized beauty and health disruptor, and I want you to know about it and address it. Now, I said meditation was tops, so while you're meditating, boost your mitochondria and your skin game, wear your LED light mask. Or you might choose the Plasma Glow Duo Under Eye Patch. You can use it without the infusion patches on it by just lying back and allow it to rest by way of gravity under your under eye. I added PEMF under there too. If you don't know what that is, watch my video here all about the Duo Glow and one down here all about red light. Keep your skin and body beautiful, healthy, and vibrant.